Hello, viewer, and welcome to CANDID Talk with Zainab Suleiman Okino on Trust TV, Abuja. Today, our topic is raising awareness against cervical cancer, and our guest is Malam Hassan Gimba. Malam Gimba, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Once again, thank you for joining us on this show today, and it promises to be an interesting one. Now, before we kickstart the ball rolling, let's go on a short break. We'll be right back. Please don't go away. Welcome back. As I earlier introduced, our guest on the show today is Malam Hassan Gimba. Hassan Gimba is a veteran journalist, an editor, and currently an online publisher. In March 2018, he lost his wife of 26 years to cervical cancer after a long battle. Penultimate week, he gathered friends and well-wishers to launch a foundation in his wife's name. Today, we have him here to share his experiences and vision with us. Malam Hassan, welcome.
Thank you, Hajiya.
Okay, once again, accept my condolences.
Thank you.
4 years after your wife's, her name is Lami Fatima Babare, passing, you brought friends and well-wishers together to establish a foundation in her name. What informed that decision?
First of all, there is the need to immortalize her name somehow. And secondly, I saw what she went through. And I vowed never to allow someone, if I can, go through what she went through. That's why I founded the foundation. We want to immortalize her name. And secondly, I made a vow not to let anyone go through such things. If I can, stop its spread so that no one goes through it. Because once you see someone going through such ailment, you wouldn't wish it for your worst enemy. It's so bad, so debilitating. This was a woman that I knew to be strong, full of life. But it came to a point where everything had to be done for her.
Wow.
She couldn't move. Even lying on the bed, we have to change her position. She just couldn't do it herself. Then it came to a point where she couldn't even pass out waste from her body.
That means the kidney was already affected.
Yeah, the kidney was affected. We had to do a lot of dialysis, you know. And sometimes, once the dialysis wasn't done on time, she could go into a coma.
Wow.
Eyes wide open for days, not knowing what was going on. It was terrible.
Thank you, Malam Hassan. You must have had a beautiful life together, because in the tribute you did in 2018, and I want to quote it directly, you said something like this, you wrote like this: you sang for me, you danced for me, you brought laughter to my life, to our home. You made me excel because I wanted to be your king. My life too revolved around you. Everything I did was for you, because of you, or in consideration of you. Very touching and emotional. What more was she to you?
She was, of course, a wife, a friend, a sister, even a mother, and a daughter. Because once there is love, you reach a point where the wife is like a daughter to you. You want to do whatever you can to a daughter to make her feel comfortable. And she also become a mother to you, because every man is a kid. and a good wife who knows how to manipulate her man mothers him, and he feels okay about it. I wrote that in the night she died.
Wow.
She died around 2 a.m.
And you still had the strength?
Yes, around 2 a.m. because I was with her for a period of 1 month, 30 good days. Throughout the period she was sick. When I took her to Gombe, from Gombe, we had to come to Damaturu for dialysis because they couldn't do it in Gombe. She had hepatitis, so the dialysis machine wasn't meant for those with hepatitis. So we had to come to Damaturu Teaching Hospital. They had a machine that can do for, it's a very modern machine, which can do for even people who have hepatitis, no problem. We came to Damaturu twice for dialysis, and then we went back. And I was by her throughout that time. So when she died, I cried, of course. So later,
sorry.
after about 2-3 hours, I sat down in tears. Then I started writing that thing.
Wow.
In tears. I posted it on Facebook. And it had a lot of, it went viral within a very short time.
I can imagine.
Yeah, all over the world you'll see comments. You know, thousands of...
because it was really from the heart.
Yeah, it was. You know? It was. With tears in my heart.
Yes.
It was from the heart. Yeah.
Yeah. So a foundation of this kind is not common in this part of the country. What do you hope to achieve with starting a foundation in her name? How do you wish, where do you want it to go? How far do you want it to go?
I want it to go as far as it can go. As you rightly said, it's not common in this part of the country because people here either do not know about such things or do not give a damn, if I can use that word, about it. But when we look at how a lot of drugs were gotten in the world and how a lot of things happen, it's through such foundations. Some do it for themselves to take care of or to research over, to research and get drugs for an ailment they have. And some just do it for others. The intention is to, that's why we put awareness there. It's very deliberate.
Okay.
When you go to advanced countries, you see they do this pap smear for teenagers, 12, 13, 14, 15. It's even almost compulsory, so that if there is a sign, it can be taken care of early enough. So our intention is to make people, first of all, be aware of cervical cancer, what it is. Because the thing is, here, more especially where we live in a polygamous family, there are certain symptoms associated with it. For instance, when the man and the woman meet as husband and wife, she bleeds. That's one of the symptoms. So if it were here, some people may begin to think, especially if it's in a polygamous family, that the other co-wives did juju for her so that she wouldn't meet with the husband. And they will think like that. Or they will say...
You know, ignorance is a problem.
That is it. Or an evil genie, evil spirit met her. So they will begin to bring some leaves for her to smoke, you know, all over her body, or to drink, or to bath, while the disease keeps on eating deep into the body. By the time it's realized, she's gone. So what we want is to make people, first of all, be aware of what cervical cancer is, know its symptoms, and then find ways of making available kits, or maybe in conjunction with other people, to test potential people with it, so that if a sign is seen, then quickly maybe medication will be sought.
So the process from the launch, how will it be utilized?
All these things, we are going to create ways and means of making people aware through pamphlets, radio programs, television stations. When you talked of me being an online publisher, you forgot that I also publish magazine, also hard copy, and we have started a television too online.
Wow, okay.
So we will
online anyway.
Online, yeah. We will use our outlets and other outlets like you, who has been a veteran in the business and has a lot of network, and other newspaper houses will collaborate so that we make people aware of what it is, and then we will have to see that we depending on the money we have, built maybe a laboratory for testing and even get mobile laboratory to moving around. We will start with small communities, maybe from where she was born,
okay,
before we expand.
How do you plan to sustain the foundation?
Well, some money not gathered on that day, it's pledged. So, and from our experience, a lot of pledges don't get redeemed. But we have to look for people or organizations or institutions with similar ideas as ours. Get in touch with them and see how we will collaborate. And the little money we have will be there to facilitate such things.
Okay, so you must have known so much now about cervical cancer. How much can you tell us, even though you are not a professional?
Well, my knowledge of cervical cancer revolves just around my wife and the symptoms she went through. I just couldn't bring myself to read about it. But unlike her, she was all over the net, studying it, reading about it, telling me some
while
things.
She was on her sick bed.
Yeah, I've never seen a person as strong as her. At a point in time, she knew she was going to die. I think if I were the one, I would be crying. Maybe not fear of death, but I'm someone who is very, very emotional.
Okay.
But she was so strong. We would be crying with tears while she was dried-eyed. But many a times she told me that even just 3 days before she died, the day she went into her final coma, because she spent about two days in coma before she died, she turned to me and told me, I've today paid all my debts. I finished paying all my debts today. And when many things happen, especially with the children, she would say, why are you people doing this? See what's going to happen to me. I say, okay, it's all right, we're going, you know. So what I know about it basically comes from what she told me. Truly, I couldn't bring myself to go and study it. I know this is cervical cancer and it shouldn't be wished on anybody. And whatever I can do to see that it's eradicated, I will do. That's what I know about it.
Thank you so much for sharing this moment. We'll soon be, we'll go on break now, and when we return, you can throw more light on the point you are trying to make.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, viewers, for joining us. It's still CANDID Talk on Trust TV. We'll be back soon. Thank you for staying with us. In case you are just joining us, this is CANDID Talk with Zainab on Trust TV, Abuja, and our guest has been Malam Hassan Gimba. And together we have been discussing raising awareness against cervical cancer. Now, Malam Hassan, you said your wife was your strength and confidence. What do you really mean by that?
Well, you see, the man does things for his family. I'm just generalizing. But the man goes out in the morning, gets what he can get, brings it home, feeds his family. So what he does is for his family. When he gets 10 naira, he makes sure 6, 7 naira goes to them. So
that's a responsible man anyway.
That's a responsible, and everyone wants to be responsible anyway, except maybe. So, if you have a good wife and a person you love that you feel also loves you, then she gives you strength to go and look for things that will better her life. The moment you see her, you have a sort of sympathy, and you want her to have the best. Likewise, when you have kids, for instance, when you have 3 kids, and then you go out, you find an egg, you start thinking, how do I share it between these 3? If they give you 3 eggs, you may be hungry, you won't eat any, you will say, okay, come, I'll give 1 each. And they don't know how you got it, you know.
Yeah.
To them, you are the best father in the world. And the child normally thinks his father is the strongest man on earth, the richest man. So the wife too sees her husband as the star among men, that he can do whatever he can for her. So she gives you that strength. In her own case, she has never shown to me, for instance, if I do something and fail, I never see on her face such as like mocking me or looking at me with
Instead,
glee.
she encourages you.
Yeah.
Or she encourages
yeah, the
you.
way she looks at you, you feel you have done
A great thing.
a great thing. But you know you haven't. So you now try to make her proud of you, to be proud of you. Yeah. So she has been that to me a lot of times. And that's why when I was writing that thing, I was thinking of all those things. You know, kids, when they marry, sometimes we happen to be age mates. So some musics that we all knew in secondary school, she had a good voice, unlike mine, no? Mine is like Heina's voice. So she will be singing like in Yellow Man and then dancing how Yellow Man was dancing and things like that. So you will recall a lot of things.
Yeah.
And such woman you want to...
So how about the children? How are they coping?
She was able to escort them part of the way. She was alive when our first daughter, Habiba, got married, had 2 kids then. Now she has 3. She was also alive when the second child became a barrister at the young age of 22.
22, I remember that.
Yeah, she knew that. So she had escorted them
to a certain
part of the way.
level.
Yeah, and then all the 6 children she left behind are all doing fine. Allah has answered her prayers, because every mother prays for her children.
Okay, besides having another wife to comfort you, have you been able to heal from the death? Is it really possible to heal forever? Because almost all of I'm involved too, you know. Is it really possible to heal?
Ajia Zainab, just a few moments ago, you were talking about when your husband died 8 years ago. We can never get healed from that. You always think about it with nostalgia. Sometimes some things brings you close to tears. But if it's someone that you love, I don't think you can ever... Let me give you one example. When she died, normally when someone close to you dies, you know, maybe for a moment you become afraid of entering the dark. Maybe he will visit you, since you people like each other, and say, okay, come, let's go. Or even sleeping alone. But when she died, when I came into the room, lay down on the bed, sometimes I feel as if movement by my side of the bed. I will just smile, thinking maybe she's the one. Maybe she was the one, you know. So you do think about such things now and then. You sometimes some things bring you to tears, but you don't get totally healed. You don't.
Okay, so it's also interesting that your other wife, who incidentally is a medical doctor, is the DG of the foundation. Is she doing it to advance her career in medicine, or she is truly committed and passionate about a foundation to advance the cause of women with cervical cancer and further shine the light on the disease?
Yeah. What she does now, I don't think she requires the foundation to further her career. She's almost at the peak of her career now. A deputy director, and she has about 2 masters related to medicine, apart from her first degree in medicine. But having been a co-wife, they were co-wives together, there was mutual respect between them. I think just about 2 weeks ago, she showed me one container. She said she was the one that gave it to me, perfume inside and things like that. And
you must be a lucky man.
I think so. Yeah. God truly blessed me with wonderful women. So she's doing it out of respect for her co-wife, and also we share the same passion to see that cervical cancer is eradicated or drastically reduced to the minimum, and to bring succor to people afflicted by it.
Okay, let me ask this question. Why was the foundation launched in Abuja instead of Yobe State, where she lived and worked before her death?
Yeah, one thing is that somehow you may find people who understand such things more in Abuja than in Yobe. When we started this talk, we talked on it's not common in this part of the country. And that's one. And some of the dignitaries invited may not find themselves in Yobe. For instance, the wife of the Ondo State Governor, Mrs. Akere, who is also a cancer survivor herself, is the patron of the foundation. And she came as a guest speaker. So most of the guests who came to the launching, who graced it, were based here. But in Yobe, I don't know, maybe I also thought of some people that you think may show empathy. Let's take an example at school. She was a lecturer with Federal College of Education, Technical, Port School. Throughout the period she was sick, she a serving staff, throughout the period she was sick, officially, nobody from that school came to see how she was doing. Officially, nobody came from that school.
I read it. I was shocked too.
So sad, so unfortunate. So when we were launching this foundation too, I sent an invitation card and a written letter to the provost that she was your staff, we are doing this on her behalf. So I thought, even for solidarity's sake, the provost, if he couldn't make it, would send a representative to say, I mean, the school could have done it themselves. That's what's an institution for. A lot of institutions have foundations. A lot of institutions do a lot of things to uplift humanity. And that's how we found ourselves where we are. But these people, even a letter, don't come. Send a letter, oh, you have done well, and we identify with this thing.
Another time we can discuss that, but I just want to add this last question. How will the foundation, in creating awareness, how will the foundation reach out to other parts of the country?
Yeah, as I said, we will collaborate with the media, print, online, and television and radio. We will create literature that will go around, and also we will now try to reach out to a lot of institutions and organizations that have the same outlook as ours, so that we see areas of collaboration.
Thank you so much, Malam Hassan, for your time. We do hope we'll have another session together some other day.
Thank you.
However, this is where we have to draw the curtain on the show. Please join us next week, same time, same station, for yet another interesting package. I'm Zainab Suleiman Okino. Thanks for watching Candid Talk.